Violence goes beyond politicking. It is a crime that is well captured under our excellent criminal laws, both in its planning and execution. If political thugs are armed with any sort of weapons and inspired by any political actor to advance an illegal act, including attacking innocent citizens for political purpose or attacking INEC assets and personnel or any other critical infrastructure in the country, such persons and those authenticating them stand the risk of being brought to justice for specific crime associated with their conduct, regardless of their political affiliation, status, and ambitions.
We want to commend the Inspector General of Police for bringing all the political leaders and political parties together for this roundtable with the service chiefs and other heads of security agencies. It's a welcome development. It shows that the police is ready to police with engagement with the people. And like what was said here, everything that was said here are the problems that we're going to face in 2023. We raised the issue of clamp down on opposition in some states, the activities of some governors that are overbearing. We raised the activities of also some of the commissioners of police who seems to be siding at the side of the ruling government in different states. We raised the issue of arrest of political opponents in night to election. We raised the issue of use of trump-up charges against political opponents. We raised especially the issue of Weboni, where you have opponents of the incumbent being arrested and charged to magistrate. The police should not be involved in those kind of things. And more importantly, also, we raised before INEC about the cleaning of the voter register, which from what the INEC Federal Commissioner that represented the INEC chairman said, that the commission has gone far in investigating those who were involved in the Omoa magic and they will be prosecuted. But we went further to also demand that the police must ensure that the rules of engagement of the people at the state level, especially the commissioners of police, is one that will give a level playing field for all the political actors. You can see people are attacked at rally venues, people are not allowed to put their billboards, people are not allowed. There's many issues that are going on in different states. And then there's ones that has to involve the issue of the afternoon raid that we talked about, that the police must also assure us that they have a way of solving the issue of people attacking the polling unit, possibly after accreditation, to be able to carry it and then use what is already accredited to also thumbprint. And the Inspector General of Police assured us that come 2023, the police will police effectively and ensure that all parties are given a level playing field. And they use that opportunity to also warn us political actors to tame our supporters, because it's also very important. People are making reckless comments, they are making ethnic-based statements, they are making religious-based statements, that our actions and activities can go a long way in inflaming the situation.
This is the communique read by IGP Usman Alkali Baba, the Inspector General of Police meeting with strategic stakeholders in the nation's electoral process on the 17th of November 2022 at the IGP's conference for Force Headquarters, Abuja. The strategic electoral stakeholders meeting, hosted by the Inspector General of Police, held at the Force Headquarters, Abuja on the 17th of November 2022, commencing from about 11:30 hours. The meeting was urgently convened to discuss issues of electoral violence and other negative tendencies identified within the electoral process following the commencement of political campaigns and which constitute potent threats to the 2023 general election. It was also intended to adopt an all-stakeholders approach in evolving pathway to mitigate such threats. The meeting had in attendance chairmen and representatives of 17 registered political parties in Nigeria, the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, who was ably represented by Mrs. May Agbamuchu Umbu, Director General, National Intelligence Agency, Mr. Ahmad Rufai Abubakar, Chief of Defense Intelligence, Major General S.A. Adebayo, Director General, Department of State Security Services, represented by Director of Operations, Mr. Joseph Dachib. Other attendees were the representatives of Controller General of Customs, that of Federal Road Safety Corps, Commandant General, Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, Controller General of Immigration Service, Controller General of Nigerian Correctional Service, and members of the Force Management Team. The Inspector General of Police gave a welcome speech in which he highlighted the concerning effects of hate speech, threats of violence, and tendency by strategic political actors, including some state governors, in initiating actions that deny opposition parties from manifesting their electoral rights as enshrined in the Electoral Act 2022. He emphasized the effect of such acts on the electoral process and the national security, and challenged the leadership of political parties and candidates, whom he described as critical gatekeepers to our democracy, to demonstrate purposeful and patriotic leadership that will guarantee a peaceful electoral process in line with the commitment made by the Peace Accord signing ceremony on the 29th of September 2022, and in defense to the vision of Mr. President, President Muhammadu Buhari of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, to bequeath to the nation a democratic heritage in which the interests and wishes of the electorate takes precedence. In their remarks, the representative of INEC Chairman, DG National Intelligence Agency, the DG DSS, and the Chief of Defense Intelligence also expressed concern on the global political consequence of violence in our democratic process, as well as the effect on our national security and the democratic process, and call on political actors to reinforce their commitment to a peaceful electoral process. The chairman of Interparty Advisory Council, IPAC, who also doubled as the chairman of Action Democratic Party, as well as chairmen and representatives of other political parties present, also interrogated the agenda of the meeting and offered in-depth insight into the dynamics and factors accentuating political violence in the democratic polity, and also proposed solutions. After a comprehensive deliberation, the following resolutions were reached and hereby declared as the communique of the meeting with political parties and other stakeholders in preparation for 2023 general elections. 1. Recognize that political violence, hate speech, threats, political intolerance, misinformation, and political extremism are potent threats to our democracy and national security interests. 2. Express grave concern on the conduct of some state governors in deploying state powers to deny opposition parties and candidates to advance their electoral freedom and activities in their states. Express concern on the continuous and illegal deployment of subnational quasi-security bodies by some state governors to intimidate political opponents in violation of the Electoral Act. 4. Recognize the need to protect our democratic heritage and national security interests in order to insulate the country from possible subversive activities by foreign powers. 5. Condemn in unison and in all ramifications the trend of political violence, hate speech, and other negative tendencies in our electoral process, and reach a consensus to the need to present a common front with the Nigeria Police, INEC, military, and other security agencies in nipping the negative trend in the board. 6. Condemn attack on INEC official and asset ahead of the 2023 general elections. 7. Call on the Nigeria Police and other security agencies to be conscious of not just violence before and during the election, but also possible violence after general election and the impact such could have on the credibility and successful conclusion of the process. 8. Call on the police and other security agencies to remain professional, apolitical, and impartial in the performance of their election security operations, and to be firm in dealing with electoral violence and other threats to the election security process. 9. Recognize the assurances by INEC to continue to enforce the provision of the Electoral Act and to continue to synergize with the Nigeria Police as the lead agency in election security management process towards addressing threats within the electoral process and in guaranteeing a peaceful and credible 2023 general election. Assured that the leadership of all political parties will rededicate themselves toward undertaking their campaigns and electoral activities within the dictates of the Electoral Act 2022 and pledge to denounce electoral violence, hate speeches, and other negative tendencies in the electoral process. 11. Encourage the Inspector General of Police to extend the engagement to presidential, governorship, and other candidates across all parties, as it is recognized that most instances of violence are associated with some of them and their followers. And 12. Commended the Inspector General of Police for his vision in convening the meeting and encouraged him to sustain the initiative of engaging the leaderships of political parties in addressing threats to the electoral process, and also encourage him to escalate the initiative to the state and local government levels of governance for initiative to have grassroots effects. The meeting came to a conclusion at about 14:30 hours.